right now.
That's good.
Perfect. So hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're at. This is our night community of practice lightning round session. So I'm going to share our agenda. Well, actually, before I share that, I want to give a quick introduction to everyone. If this is your first time here, my name is Cynthia Pereda. I am the grant director for the National Applied AI Consortium. And then with me, I have Anne Beheeler. Where'd she go?
I'm coming right back. I was, sorry, I'll go on video again. Hi, y'all.
Yeah, so she actually oversees our community practice as well as our national build. So our business industry leadership team. You'll hear a little bit more about that later on today. And then we also have Ed. Ed, you want to say a quick hello?
Hi, everybody. That's
it.
Great.
Yes.
And then our presenters, I'll give them also an opportunity to go ahead and introduce themselves. Dr.
Hi,
Mohamed, you want to
everyone.
go ahead and start?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Mohamed Khairi. I'm Associate Professor at Jarvis Christian University in Texas. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you for being here. Jerry?
Sure. Hi. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Jerry Hensel. I teach at Valencia College in Orlando, Florida. So just right up the road from our folks from Miami-Dade.
Great. Stephanie?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Jackson. I am the program coordinator for paralegal studies at Atlanta Technical College in Atlanta.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to share quickly, just so you're all aware of how the session will go today. We're going to have 10-minute lightning rounds, and really we'll try to have it be more towards the 8 minutes with allowing 2 minutes for questions. So first it will be Jerry. He'll be presenting on getting faculty on board with AI, then AI policy and institutional guidelines from Dr. Mohamed, and then incorporating AI in other disciplines, hence the paralegals and the legal component with Stephanie. Then the last session will be free and low cost AI curriculum. Dr. Kollin, since we did have to change the meeting time, he is not able to attend, but he was very gracious to record his session, and I was able to go through it, and we already test ran it. We're able to see it, hear it, so I think it'll go very well. And then at the end, Ed will give us a few updates and a quick presentation on our mentorship with then some closing remarks. So with that, I will then pass it on, look, with 1 minute to spare, to Jerry.
And Jerry, I will verbally tell you the 8-minute warning just in case.
Okay. Thank you, Anne.
Sure.
Thank you so once again, thank you for this opportunity, everybody. So right now I'm here at Valencia, and we have a 6-week program we're actually starting today on teaching faculty about AI. We actually have 2 courses. We have a sort of getting started with AI for faculty, and then we actually have an application generative AI track going on. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the track that I'm facilitating, which is actually titled here on this screen. And I'm just going to go over really an overview of what this will be like for the faculty over the next 5 to 6 weeks of this specific course. So we chose to do a fun theme on Mario Brothers. And as you can see, we've got 5 facilitators here. Each of the people will be in different teams. As you can see, as far as leaders, we'll be responsible for doing different parts of the presentation throughout the 6 weeks. In addition to that, we actually have a total of 55 faculty going through this track. So we'll have around 12, I call them students, but they're really participants, where we'll be grading or assessing their work and giving them feedback over the next 6 weeks as well. And once again, the idea here is really to get faculty who have either gone through the beginning course, but also to get them into applying what they've learned in that beginning course based on what we have done as seasoned faculty in AI and what works best, or what we have seen that works best with students. So here's our team right there. So we have 5 different learning outcomes here. I'm not going to read them off to you on the screen, but basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to give the faculty something that they can take with them that they can incorporate into their class with the assistance of AI or using some form of AI, which is what we refer to as a learning artifact. And the good thing about this is they get to pick and choose what they actually want to incorporate. Along with that, we also need to be honest that there are a lot of ethical implications with using AI. So we also want to make sure that they are aware that AI is not a tool that they can use for grading or for lesson generation or anything like that. It's almost like we have been, probably you guys know as well, that they are basically companions or personal assistants or even like a thought partner to let us know how things are actually going to help out in our classes, not just use them to do all of the work. Now, the other thing that I think is important too is when faculty come into this, you're going to have different levels of knowledge with artificial intelligence, but we want to have an open forum where we don't judge, we accept every kind of idea that's out there. That way, they're more willing to be honest with what they know and what they plan on or how they might incorporate. Because you might even get faculty, and I've had some in my sessions who are totally resistant to getting on board. And the whole idea for this class for me is breaking down those barriers to at least get them to hopefully see the bright side of using AI and get that into their curriculum, at least in some form or fashion. And so that's what we are trying to do too, is fostering a welcoming track community as well. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a timeline of how this actually will work for our faculty. So today is the first day. We actually started about 1 o'clock today, and then we have 3 face-to-face meetings and 2 virtual meetings. And in those virtual meetings, the participants will sort of start to build on their portfolio of what they want to include. This could be, and I'll show you some examples of what we've done as faculty as well, but it could be anything from creating a syllabus with AI, maybe using it to help brand a Canvas course shell, or even to come up with assessments and assignments. And like I said a minute ago, you know, once again, this is really a journey for them to take away with them what they actually want as far as artifacts that they can actually put into their course and everything. Okay, so here is our agenda, just to let you know what it looks like for a breakdown for today. I think the biggest highlight for me is this area, the second bullet to the bottom, which is Bloom's taxonomy. And if you're a faculty member or anywhere in academia, you probably have heard of Bloom's taxonomy, but with the infusion of AI, it really has taken it to a different level now, where we might need to, how should I put this? Not modify the Bloom's taxonomy pyramid, but add a flair to it when it comes to learning about when we infuse AI, how that can maybe change Bloom's taxonomy to a different degree, to a little bit. So there's actually, and if you're interested in these presentations, I can send them to you as far as Bloom's taxonomy with AI, because I think that's going to be something new for your faculty if they haven't seen it before, especially when we talk about changes with artificial intelligence. Okay, so I thought this was really important to show you. I wanted to show you, based on our track, how familiar with our faculty that they actually have with AI, especially Gen AI tools. And we have like around 55 participants, as I mentioned before. And you can see 83% have some experience. And you can see about 2% have no experience. So even though they have some experience, there's always room to grow. And I think that's with any faculty out there, especially with me, it's my opinion. I consider myself a lifelong learner. So if you know something that I don't know, I think that's going to be a blessing for me, and I can actually learn from you and incorporate those strategies to make my students maybe be more effective or learn in a better light. This is what they want to do with this particular track and with Gen AI. And like I mentioned before, the whole idea here, and we took our workshop and based it off of these surveys. So we wanted to let them take something away with them after we get them implemented. And by the way, I'll be fully transparent. we have a little bit of a budget for this 6-week track. If faculty sign up, they get a $500 stipend. So there is a monetary award for them to actually develop all of these different learning artifacts. And the whole idea also is once we generate these learning artifacts, we want to create a repository where faculty can sort of dump what they've done. So that way, in case other faculty want to use it, they can, but also lower those barriers and show them that other people in their discipline are actually using it too, and to get them more involved. And so this is where they think they need the most help. Student feedback and support, followed by content creation. And then of course, once again, like I mentioned in the outset, we don't really want to use Gen AI for assessment or grading because we really want that human feedback to be given back to our students because that's what they expect, especially in an online environment, because they already don't have maybe a community, any kind of community that we could set forth with them with personal feedback, I think is the way to go. So once we sort of developed all of this survey information, we did get some open-ended responses. I just wanted to share a few of them with you, just so you have an idea about what our faculty are saying as far as trying to get involved. And they're basically, as you see here, they say they want their students to have a 24/7 tutor. I think of it almost like a thought partner or someone to help them if the faculty is not around. And then I think in the very, very bottom is another really good one, especially with course design. You know, you might not be an instructional designer, but I think with the incorporation of Gen AI, it's going to lower the playing field as far as getting your courses to the way that you really want them to be as far as set up. And so they can really help you with that too. I'm going to show you an example coming up too, what I mean by that. Okay.
Jerry,
Yes.
Jerry, 8.5 minutes are gone.
Okay.
So you've only
I'll
got a
finish
minute
up.
and a half left.
Yep, you
including
got it.
questions.
I got two things I just want to show you. So we're going to show you a little bit
Perfect.
about what we mean by the AI demonstration. So this first one, they get to choose and see if the content was created by a bot. And if you look at the very bottom, one student said there wouldn't be a need for subject matter experts. And I think they were shocked because, you know, with hallucinations, they don't really know what's going on as far as if things are correct or not. And I think we need to teach them that we still need faculty involved. And so it's a partnership between faculty and students. And the last one I wanted to show is with course design. So if you have something that you want to put into a course, it can be time consuming. Maybe you don't know how to write HTML or CSS or limitations on Canvas skills. You can actually use AI to help with Canvas course development too, especially with segmenting, which is chunking digestible parts of your course and then highlighting what is going to matter most. So that's it. That's for me. Thanks for letting me share. And thanks, Anne, for the time notification. And thank you very much.
We have a minute for questions. If you would like to ask them, put them in the chat or just come off mute and ask them.
So I see that Antonio did put in the chat the Bloom taxonomy.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
Anyone
thank
is
you very
interested.
much, Antonio.
Yeah. And it has a bent towards AI, which is even better.
Do you mind if I ask a question real quick, Ann?
Go ahead.
Jerry, thank you for this presentation. It's amazing. You mentioned that about 50 faculty are going through this right now. Approximately how many faculty are at Valencia? Just trying to think of a percentage of faculty going through.
Faculty from Valencia. 100%.
100% of them are going through it?
No, how many
No, no.
faculty total at
50
Valencia?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I misunderstood your question. We have approximately 600 faculty, 700 faculty. So we have about 55 going through. And
Oh,
that's
that's
the
good.
advanced track. We have another 50 going through the beginning track.
Hey, thank you for sharing this.
You're welcome.
So Jerry, why don't you put your email in the chat box? There
I
is
can do
another
that.
question from Trevor, but we're going to need to move on and keep this on schedule.
Sure.
This is the first time we have done the lightning rounds for this particular initiative. We may find that we need to have a longer period as we go along, but we don't want to cut everybody off, but we also don't want to end up getting to the end and not having time to cover what we planned. So who's next? Cynthia?
Great. So next we have
Mohamed.
Dr. Mohamed.
Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, guys.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening. I hope you see my screen and you hear my voice well.
We do.
Okay. I'm talking about AI policy and institution guidelines for use. I'm trying to be practical more about this one. My name is Dr. Mohamed Khairi. I'm from Jarvis Christian University. What I'm trying to do here is to talk about the AI policy and the guidelines and for colleges. The question is why we need AI policy? What is the matter for community colleges? Why they need it? The first, plagiarism risk, we always have this an issue for us. And equity gap, students, some students, they don't have access to AI tools. And transparency, should the students disclose AI? Here's an example. I want to show you this example of that one. If you can see here. This is an example of a syllabus. You can see the syllabus, if you want to use AI inclusive, it tells you what you're supposed to be that in your policy. If you want to mix it AI with not AI, that's there here. If you have AI resistance, you don't want to allow students to use the AI. This is an example of you can use it. I have a link for that one, and I believe it's available for you. You can go ahead and use it there. So this is a link is there. I'm not sure if you can get the PowerPoint presentation, and you can go ahead and start using that one. When we have some challenges and how we solve them, for example, uneven AI access. You know, some people have access, and some people they don't have access. For example, student lacks paid tools like ChatGPT Plus. The solution should provide free campus license, for example, Grammarly, EDU, or something like that. And there's a cheating concern. If there's a cheating concern, AI written lab report, for example, we should have a use tuition AI detection or something, or even the college can get a license with that one and be used for that purpose. And faculty training gaps, I believe Jerry mentioned that when the training is very important for all faculty, adjuncts unaware of AI policies. It should be like a workshops like what Jerry mentioned now. This could be the best way to go. And how to detect and address AI misuse. I believe I mentioned this one. We need to AI content detectors. There in LMS like Canvas, there's a AI content detectors. I'm not sure there are some tools available, but maybe not all colleges embedded or buy these features. But that could be a solution. And also there's a link there for GPT-0, and that is a free to check AI context. Use AI detection as a teaching moment, not just punishment. That's what means that first you have to tell your students, I am going to use this tool, and tell them how this tool works and how you're going to find out, how you're going to detect that the cheating and your policy regarding to what will happen if you find out. If you come to the equity of first AI policies, campus AI labs. Campus could have AI lab partners, libraries. I personally, what I do, I make sure every student have in his phone ChatGPT, for example, that free one. At the beginning of the class, I come and ask them, do you have this one? I'm going to make sure everyone have that option, or find out alternative and make sure every student or everyone accessing the lab have that option to make sure I can use it in the class as a mix, and then I'm sure everybody have that access. Assume students have no AI experience, then you need to provide the students. That is what the lesson I learned. You have to assume some students they don't have. This is a very important assumption, and then after that you provide the tutors and help and how they can use it, or even you can have it in the lab as a faculty or as a college. Here, I'm going to show you the syllabus templates. The link is here. I will show you this link, and I believe it could be available to you also. You can, as I mentioned it here, this is a sample of AI syllabus. This is the syllabus statements. If you're using AI inclusive, this is a sample. And if you are mix of them, as I said, so you allow AI in certain and you don't allow, or if you don't allow AI totally, which is AI resistance, and then you can go ahead and use this as example. This is a link there for the College of Broward College. They have this policy, and you can work with it and make some change if you want. This is the training sources available for community colleges about for educators, how to use the AI, and for the students also as well. I highly encourage everyone to go through them, and so you can help your colleagues at the same time. You should be aware of that one, and then look at what the students available for them and help them out with that one. I have it here. I don't know why this happened to me. This is libraries for all information about the AI. You can imagine how much information is here. And the good thing about this link, tutoring AI ChatGPT, according to discipline. If you are in the English, or social science, and math, or every part of the discipline or what you teach, you will find information about how to use AI in those areas. Or if you go teaching government, if you're teaching history, whatever it is, that is resources available for you to look at it and to see and to learn from it. And at the same time, you can teach your students if you're planning to let them to use the ChatGPT for that one.
Mohamed, you are 8 minutes through. You have 2 minutes, including questions.
Okay. This is the example for AI tutor. The link is here. If you open the link for the AI tutor, I show you the example of this one here. And it tell you how to help your students use it in the same time, learn from it. This is the answer to, for example, ask him to put 100 plus 300, which is equal to 3. You make a slash, and then you get the result. It tell you how did you get the answer. You get information, how did you get the answer. And then it tell you that, okay, give me another as example. And then it tell you how to, the steps they follow to solve the problem. All this available for you, and then you can teach your students to follow this way of doing things, and they will learn. It's a way of you help a ChatGPT, or I mean that this tool help you to teach as a part of, you become a facilitator, and the AI will do the teaching for you. The AI allowed for homework help, not tested. They can help you with that one. 22%, what they find out, especially when they're teaching math, 22 fewer drops. Students felt more confident, especially with the math, because some intimidating for some to do that. I'm just gonna take away for this one to call for action. For this week, add AI rules to your syllabus. For the semester, try one AI assignment, ChatGPT, and for the advocate for campus-wide AI guidelines and AI policy builder for the community colleges.
Thank you,
I will
Mohamed.
end up with this one. I have the resources for you available.
Sorry, we're out of
thank you
time
very
at
much.
this point. We're
Thank
out
you
of
very
time.
much.
So go ahead and put any questions you might have in the chat. We're making the slides available. Cynthia, I'm already seeing that 10 minutes is not going to cut it. We're going to have to make it longer. But we're going to go on and cover what we said we were going to do. So let's.
I have a references for you here. I will send you this syllabus.
Yes.
You can. I will send it in the chat if anyone interested to use it.
Great.
That's
Thank
fine.
you so
Thank
much.
you, Mohamed. We appreciate it very
I
much.
I really enjoyed the part of the math tutor. That was really
Yeah.
good.
Very good.
So
Okay,
next we
thank you.
have Stephanie Jackson, incorporating AI in other disciplines.
Hi, hello, everybody. I'm gonna
You need to
share
stop
my
sharing,
presentation.
Mohamed. Stop
There.
sharing, please.
I
There
think
you
it
are.
let
Thank
me.
you.
There.
Okay.
So I am, as I said earlier, I'm Stephanie Jackson. I am the program coordinator, the chair for the Paralegal Studies program at Atlanta Tech in Atlanta. And we have two programs. We have an associate's degree program and we have a post-baccalaureate certificate program. So my students come from a variety of, they could be fresh out of high school through my oldest student right now graduated college in 1983 and already has a master's. So my students are kind of across the board in how they use technology, how they understand it, and how they approach what they do. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got here, what we've tried, what's working, those challenges, and where we are headed next. So when AI was first a thing, I was extraordinarily distrustful of it. Like a lot of us, I was kind of raised on that pop culture you know, of AI is bad and AI is going to take over everything and it's going to control my house and it's going to kill me and my family in my sleep and it's not going to feel a thing about it, right? And you know, that was a thing. And after Amazon Echo in 2019 inadvertently recorded what appeared to be evidence in a murder, I refused to go to my best friend's house for a year because she would have to spell her son Alex's name when she said it out loud because Alexa would turn on. Right. So, and I was convinced that Alexa was going to kill them in their sleep and frame me for it. Right. So, and this was also about the same time that a gentleman was complaining to his wife about his boss, and Alexa called the boss. The gentleman heard the whole conversation, the boss heard the whole conversation, and the man lost his job. And so there were a lot of things, and that's not even generative AI, right? But that harkened back to the Electric Dreams movie of 1984 that I think is due for a reboot. And if anybody knows Edgar and knows this film, please reach out to me later. Let's have a talk about Bud Cort in that film. But anyway, by the summer of 2023, we start to see the first news reports of what is a case out of the Southern District of New York. This is Matta v. Avianca. And remember, I'm a paralegal by trade, and at the time I was working for the Attorney General of Georgia. And what was happening in this was the first case of hallucinated case citations. And an attorney was cited for not using fake case citations that had come up in ChatGPT. And this was the first time we saw it. And at the time I was already teaching law and ethics. I was teaching legal research and writing. And I told my students in no uncertain terms, we're not using AI in any way until we know what we're doing with this. Stop, don't do it. So 2023, the ABA surveys its members, and of responding members, 10.9% of law firms said we're using AI in some capacity. By 2024, that number was up to 30.2% of law firms. However, what that number doesn't reflect is that almost half of large law firms are using AI-based tools by 2024. And so for those of us who are, you know, I am tied in a professional technical trade and industry, I am tied to what is going on in my local field. So my industry partners, my advisory committee last year said, how are we pulling this into the curriculum? What are we doing? So coincidentally, I get the opportunity from the National Applied AI Consortium to do some training for the Microsoft AI Bootcamp for educators. And I was like, oh, timing's great. Let's take a look and see what's going on. So I go through the AI 900 training. I do the Google prompting essentials that grow with Google. And what I find out is what AI can do, but I also find out what it can't do, right? So my fears are somewhat alleviated. And I have this opportunity to really start to think about how I'm going to pull this into my curriculum and start to plan what I'm going to be able to do. But I also have to be cost effective in what I'm doing. I have to prepare my students to enter the legal workforce. I have to meet student learning outcomes, but I have to be mindful of costs to the college and to my students. So what I mapped out, we just finished our first semester doing this. In our intro class, Intro to Law and Ethics, the first week, my students signed up for Microsoft Learn, and they go in and they do the fundamentals of generative AI training. And in the first semester, we are using Copilot because we have access to Copilot from the beginning for the entirety of their program. They have access, and that ties into their Comp 1000, their Intro to Computers class that they have to take which is now converting to the SimNet training for those of you who are familiar with that SimNet training through Microsoft. So they have Copilot for the entirety of their time with me. So we are doing resume writing and cover letter writing using AI from the very beginning of their program. And those we can look at having AI help do transferable skills. We're having tailor and redraft these to whether they are brand new out of high school or they are well-seasoned professionals who are changing careers, right? In legal research and writing 1, we're continuing our training on what Copilot can do and what AI is, but we're learning traditional legal research and writing skills with Lexis Protege. We have LexisNexis. But I am using AI to write research scenarios on the fly and giving them to students to do quick things, which are scenarios just like I got when I was a paralegal working in the field, where an attorney would call and say, hey, I have a 15-minute recess. Here's my case, my situation. I need you to find case law for this. And so students come into class. It's like a pop quiz. I can do the exact same thing on the fly, right? And use AI to do it very quickly. And I don't have to tax myself to come up with 20 different scenarios for students. But then in legal research and writing 2, we're continuing with what we're doing. And then we're incorporating the AI that's in Lexis Protege and having both Protege and a Copilot try to replicate the final project for legal research 1, and then writing about the limitations in the AI. We are trying to use the tool of the AI and learning to use that, but we're also looking at where the limitations are. And I will say that one of the things that is often questioned about this are the critical thinking skills. And I think we all have come across are we losing critical thinking to AI? And I have a specific multi-week, 9-week critical thinking unit in my research and writing 1 class that students are doing in the midst of all of this. So I am reinforcing critical thinking and inductive and deductive reasoning skills. So where the AI can go wrong. And Bloom's taxonomy is part of that. The self-evaluation, the evaluation of the process is necessary for students to understand what works and what doesn't.
Stephanie,
So-
you're at 8 minutes, just so you know.
Great. One of the procrastination, lack of effort, of course, willful ignorance. We absolutely had a couple of students who ran with hallucinated citations, who turned them in. And they had been warned that this was a problem. And for professional ethics reasons and academic ethics reasons, this was a problem. And they had been warned of this ahead of time. They were reported for academic dishonesty. We use it as a teaching moment. The first time they did it, it was the teaching moment. The second time they did it, they were reported to the dean of students, right? That became another issue. So, and I'm happy to talk about that offline if anybody wants to contact me. So please, does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, I do want to open it up if anybody has anything.
You have about 2 minutes for questions.
Sure.
Anybody? Questions?
I
would
will
like
say,
to-
check
ahead.
with professional ethics rules with your industry. And if there is anything that your industry requires, please kind of see where, if there are limitations. The ABA came out with very specific guidelines last summer that we are having to work within while we are waiting on state bar associations to give us specific guidelines. And so the ABA has our only guidelines right now, other than, broader AI ethics, but we have very specific industry guidelines that we're having to work within in addition to broader AI guidelines.
Stephanie, I see that you have a question in the chat.
Sure.
If anything, students are gaining critical thinking. Well, it was more of a comment, if gaining critical thinking when it is used with guidance.
Absolutely. But this was also this critical thinking in legal education is a completely different, it's something else entirely. And for those of you, everybody's in education, I actually had standardized assessments for the first time this semester and actually have data showing improvement in critical thinking, inductive and deductive reasoning scores this semester around this curriculum before when the assessments were done before and after. And so I'm really interested to see how that's going to change over the course of the AI usage. And so I'm really interested to see what Jerry has. Like I downloaded that PDF immediately, and Jerry, I can't wait to talk to you offline over the next couple of weeks and see this training that you are doing at Valencia. I'm very interested to see how that is going.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank
That is
you.
the reason we do these lightning rounds. We want to develop your relationships with one another. because we're all in this pickle together, dealing with an emerging industry that is emerging at a velocity unknown before. And I think it's really important from your standpoint that you focused on the relationships, the ethical responsibility, what you have to do for a particular industry. That's really, really good. I appreciate that. Cynthia, let's
Great.
move on.
So next we'll have Dr. Kollin Napier's presentation. Remember, he was not able to join us due to the change in schedule, but he did record his session, and I think you'll find it very interesting.
Cynthia, did we check to make sure it was within the 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good.
I am Dr. Kollin Napier. I'm an employee of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and I serve as the director of the Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network, otherwise known as MAIN. I appreciate the opportunity today to come in front of you for this community of practice and this lightning round and discussing free and affordable curriculum and tools for workforce-aligned AI learning, something I like to call scaling AI access in community colleges. A lot of information I'm going to cover in a short amount of time, so be sure to get my contact information, kollin.napier@mgccc.edu, and then the main website, mainms.org. So with that, we talk about the importance of AI in community colleges. We see the increasing need and demand for AI skills across all sectors of the workforce, not just within computer science, for example, but in finance and healthcare and beyond, and going to increasingly be an important skill that employers look for. But we need to provide the access to AI education. You know, maybe this is a formal degree or a formal program, or maybe this is something more broad from an institution perspective or a statewide or regional perspective. So that's where the role of community colleges to come into play in creating a bridge and providing that education back to the community, back to the traditional or non-traditional students. And it starts with developing the curriculum that meets the needs already. You know, what are the expectations? What are the trends? What are the things we're trying to solve throughout our area, our state, and beyond? So we like to talk about high quality curriculum characteristics and things to look for. You know, when we're developing a curriculum, are there accessibility features? Is there something that is free or low cost? Is it mobile friendly? Does it require any sort of complex software? And this can be bridged in utilizing no code or low code options where the student, the individual does not need to have any expertise in programming. It always helps, you know, I encourage people to learn programming, but what can we do that simplifies the process? Understanding the career pathway, what is in demand? What can we meet the need of and sort of meet in the middle with providing AI? How are they using AI? What can AI do for them, especially in areas like advanced manufacturing? We can do this through modularized learning, providing micro-credentials that are stackable, things of that nature to build up expertise over time. And this really blends into hands-on engagement, project-based learning, you know, experimenting with AI and seeing what it can do. And on the credential side, providing badges, providing certificates, anything to build up somebody's resume with a student going forward into their career. So resources that are available right now, these are primarily from an organization, institution standpoint, but Intel's AI for Workforce program. We utilize that as a statewide initiative in the state of Mississippi through Maine, but there are over 100 community colleges in the U.S. participating and preparing students for their AI careers going forward. We enjoy this curriculum and something I recommend everyone partner with Intel on. A fairly new one here is OpenAI Academy from OpenAI, the makers behind ChatGPT, providing resources for educators, for prompt engineering techniques, ethical guidelines, and beyond. Something rich to utilize there. Amazon has an offering called Academy, AWS Academy, that talks about cloud, AI, machine learning, deep learning, and all of that's provided from an institutional level. Something we'll utilize here in Mississippi soon. And on the flip side of that, I'm sure you've already seen the Microsoft training, LinkedIn learning, some credentials that can be earned there as well. As far as student facing, what students can go out and do on their own, AWS has a different offering called Skill Builder that provides a little more self-paced flexibility there for them. NVIDIA also has their Deep Learning Institute that has some free resources. There are some paid out of that, but some free students can access. Google has a wide offering, anything from something directly from Google to something through Coursera, but it's still from Google. a lot of rich content there. IBM also has one called Skills Build, similar to AWS here, but still offering a lot of great resources and micro-credentials, and then code.org with their curriculum as well. And that one's primarily for K-12, but many of that could be adapted for the community college level and bridging that gap between student graduating and going into higher ed. Student offers, some things I want you to know right now, some free things for your students. I know we've hit graduation, we're at the end of the year, but if you still have contact with your students, let them know about this. ChatGPT Plus is being offered free for students at the end of the month. I believe this is a 2-month offering where if they did it today, May 16th, it would go through July 16th. Google has their Gemini offering for free through next June 2026, and it's access to Gemini, Notebook LM, storage, and much more. Highly recommend that. And then Perplexity offering a free opportunity for students when they sign up with their EDU email as well. We talk about free and low cost. One thing that you may or may not know of is open source, is local AI, being able to run AI on your own device, your own server, your own machines. You don't always have to pay for a ChatGPT or a Gemini. You could download open source models and run them. Now, of course, the paid products are going to differ from the free. You know, you may not always get the bang for your buck there, but some of these, and you could argue, are comparable, especially those coming out of different companies, different countries, and so on and so forth. So Olama here can download it. LM Studio, Hugging Face is like a repository like GitHub and GitLab. So I recommend checking this out. It's all free. You can download it locally, use it locally. You don't have to call out. You don't need internet, so you don't need to pay for it. When we talk about use cases, understanding career and technical education, again, how is AI being applied in all of these in-demand fields, and what can be supported through existing programs or stood up and brand new programs? We also need to talk about the general education side, that all students need to have some sort of AI knowledge. So how can the AI knowledge be applied in an English composition course, in a career prep, in a mathematics course and beyond, and understanding the blend there. So implementation strategy for community colleges, you know, run pilot programs, do your faculty development, get people involved, get people talking, hands-on learning, experiment with it, understand what it is, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, it starts by doing. Same thing on your non-credit and dual enrollment side, you know, try to offer some sort of credential either through the institution or in partnership with an industry, you know, a big tech organization, and focus on your workforce, focus on your high school learners as well, and align your projects. If you're doing project-based learning, align those with your industry need. And if you're not doing project-based learning, look into it, see how it benefits the students in the long run, getting that hands-on experience. It's something I do want to touch on is what we've done in Mississippi. A lot of these things I'm talking about, we have been doing and continue to do in the state through all of our community colleges, universities, and more, thanks to partnerships with Intel, AWS, NVIDIA, and more. So I highly recommend you do all of this. We were able to create Maine, Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network, the nation's first and only statewide AI initiative, and we're continuing to do big things in the state of Mississippi, and I love to see this happening in other states as well. Just some highlights so you can see the impact we've had on the K-12 side. Tremendous amount of K-12 teachers taking the initiative, awarding them the continuing education there. Providing this to all of our faculty, all of our staff, all of our students in the state, almost 150,000 people, and over 4,000 of our workforce members continually enrolled and engaged in learning what AI is, where we keep providing this AI knowledge. So a call to action for everybody. Select 2 or 3 AI tools that you are familiar with or not familiar with, and align those to your goals, align those to your curriculum. How can you introduce that to faculty, staff, and students? And collaborate with partners like Intel, whether they're a big global tech company or whether they're a local business, to access curriculum and training, and then expand that in your rural and underserved areas. Collaborate with other community colleges in your state, outside your state, and empower your non-traditional communities to foster this AI going forward. Here's some references for you. I'm going to share these slides. You have access to all of this. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if there's anything I can do for you. I appreciate the opportunity again. I know it's a lot of information in a short amount of time, but I'm more than happy to talk through this again. I'm Dr. Kollin Napier, Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College Director of the Mississippi AI Network. Feel free to reach out to me, and thank you again for this opportunity.
And we will provide the slides and such. I highly suggest that you work with one another. If there's someone that you want to chat with to get further information, reach out to them. It's the idea of building community where we can support one another in this ever changing and emerging area. And last but not least, we're going to talk about mentoring. May I go ahead and put my little blurb in right now?
Okay.
We were going to cover the national job skills from the National Applied AI Consortium. They are complete. We are finished with them. However, once we got into it, Professor Salcedo and Cynthia and I looked at it and went, this is more than a 10-minute session to even get started. So we are going to take over, with your permission, we're going to take over the September version of the Community of Practice, and we're going to spend a whole hour on it. I will offer that if you want some information before them, I can provide you some prelim information. It's done, but there was no way that we could explain it in a 10-minute period. So I hope you're not disappointed, but let's move on.
Great. So our next presenter is Dr. Eduardo Salcedo, and I'm going to be sharing my screen again because I have.
Which screen is what we so many screens. Hi everybody, Eduardo Salcedo from Miami-Dade College in Miami, Florida. Mine is basically just a call to action. We for NAAIC have opened the mentorship application process. It is open until August 1st. The idea is that you will be assigned a faculty mentor to help you through the process of creating the program, or if you're a little further ahead, and help you get set up in terms of curriculum and avoid the pitfalls that between Miami-Dade College, Houston Community College, and Maricopa Community Colleges have had over the course of creating these programs. So the benefits for the selected colleges, we're aiming at a minimum of 7. That number could go up to about 10 or so. Is that you will get a faculty mentor for support, right? Every month or so, you will get at least one meeting with a mentor. And then there's other meetings related to admin, to creating a build or an advisory board, and other things to help you go through the process of your institution's creation of a program for AI. You will also have, as it says there, priority access to any training and faculty development activities. You're first, right? Of course, there's ample space. At least so far, we've been able to provide a lot more than just a dozen or 2 dozen spaces for the training. But your institution as a mentee would be given priority access to these opportunities. You'll also be given a travel stipend for the AI Summit that we just had one in Houston. It was a great success. I don't know if you were there, but we would love for you to be there next year in Arizona. Maricopa Community Colleges will be hosting next year. And again, as I said, and we'll be helping you in developing a local build, because what we just discussed, right, the general KSAs for national may not exactly fit what your community needs. And so you will need some tweaking, and you will need help from the local community experts or people using, right, in the industry. You also access the AI content and industry resources we have, some of which is public, or will be public rather, and some will be just for those that are mentees. Now, the important part, because not everyone can apply, but you have to be a US accredited community college only. Our focus is on 2-year institutions and programs therein for workforce. We need absolutely a commitment of 1 faculty at the very least and 1 senior administrator. this is a non-negotiable. Without that, we can't move forward. And you should be preparing to launch at least one AI course during the mentorship. We are set to start in September and end in July of next year. So you'll have that time frame. The decision will be done in August. So August 1st, the last day to apply. And sometime in August, we make the decision of who are the colleges that will go through. There's an interview process in the middle, just to make sure we all have the right fit, right? We all are able to provide what we need. If there's any questions, now's the time. You have a ton of people here that know about the process. You have an actual mentor. I put Philip in there on the spot, and a mentee, Jerry, who you heard speaking earlier. There's Cynthia, there's Anne, there's me. Antonio, I think, was there too. So I'm putting everyone out there to be able to answer different questions. If your institution is not ready now, or if you have more questions, please reach out. We're happy to help in order to make this a success for everybody.
And then I've also put the QR code on the slide. So if you are interested in applying, you can definitely scan that and at least go in and start looking at the application.
And it's also on the website. So if you go
Drop.
to the part that's under institutions on the current website, you'll see the apply now button. So
Thank you for sharing this information. Just kind of curious, when does the program actually start? When will you select the colleges and when will the process begin, per se?
So
Yes.
August, well, Cynthia, go ahead.
So the deadline for application will be August 1st, and then we'll make the announcement on who is selected by August 29th. That gives
Okay.
us that month to be able to interview the colleges, meet with them, see what are the needs and how we can best fit the mentee with the mentor.
Makes sense.
But
And
just,
if a college is already in the process of developing something and they're already have some things done, would the mentorship maybe be looking at those materials to see if they believe that they're relevant or any enhancement ideas?
so
Yes.
let me address that. Sorry. Thank you, Eduardo. Kevin, overall, to your previous question, the mentorship is for 1 year, one academic year. That's why Cynthia said August, but it's really to help for 2025, 2026.
Gotcha.
What is the expectation in that year to help? We're not talking about, I see the question in the chat. Is this for people that are just starting? No. These are for colleges that already have a faculty lead and administrator fully on board, making things happen, and it's really to help them get to the final line. With meaningful mentorship, someone assigned, not the community of practice meetings like this one today are nice because you see what others are doing, but the mentorship is assigned to you to help you get to the finish line. Faculty to faculty, helping from the perspective of how to teach this content, where you find there are no books, so labs, learning outcomes, syllabus, everything that is already been built, how you use that to create your own. But from an administration perspective, it's also about recruitment, it's about implementation, marketing, even approval process, if that applies. So we don't want to, this is not to help someone that, oh, I had the idea to develop a program, let me see how I start. We're looking for those that are already on the trenches, potentially, just missing a few months to launch. Like, how can we come in to help you get to the finish line and do it?
One last question, because I don't want to monopolize everything. Do you think there will be any guidance on how to help employers see this need as well? Because what I'm realizing now, at least in AI, some employers, they want to do something, but they just don't know how, right? And so then you have that kind of catch-22 where you don't want to produce graduates and they're not working, but you got to have some sort of partnerships to say, this is the fit, right? I'm not
you
sure
want
that
to
makes
answer
sense.
that question, Anne? You're muted.
That perpetual have to get off the mute. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We're already working with Foresight Tech, which is where Kevin is. And it's really very interesting to work with industry who either are scared to death of AI or jump in with both feet and don't have any idea about the ethics. It's crazy. It's really crazy. As a part of this mentorship, I will be involved with it to help you with your industry team as much as we can possibly do, because I do believe we can set the KSAs on a national level. You then have to think about what your focus is for your local industry. And your local industry may not be that local. It may be regional, it might be statewide, who knows? It may be beyond that. But it's very important to actually set expectations with them over time as well. I would dare say that every single industry or business needs to be thinking about it at least. And if they're playing the ostrich approach of burying their head in the sand, they're going to be in big trouble. That's all I can say. So yes, I've been working with each of the three mentee colleges, some to a greater extent than others because of all the rules that they have at their colleges. But ultimately, the program is going to work if it works for you at your college, because as a consortium, we're going to train faculty, but we're not going to train all the students that you can train.
I have a quick question. Trev Swan from LCCC in Wyoming. We've launched an AI program. We'll have our first classes in the fall here. We've been following along with those Intel courses that were associated with the consortium. Would this kind of enhance that experience a little bit and take those to the next level, or is it something else? I think that'd be a great fit for us if that's the case.
The
I
answer
can
is
answer
yes.
that one. Well, or Ed, you answer. You're
The
better.
answer is yes. First,
Yeah, okay.
Trevor, great that you have your program ready. When we were launching ours, we realized like there are no books. So how can we teach this? It's not the same to develop a course and to teach a course in AI. And at that time, we found that Intel curriculum is the strongest, that comes ready to use it as the guide or the book or the content to actually help the faculty deliver. In the Intel curriculum is not from the consortium, it's not from Maine in Mississippi that you saw the presentation, it's actually from Intel. So the
Right.
way that they work, they have a one-on-one agreement with each institution that is going to leverage that curriculum. What the consortium facilitates, if you are accepted in a mentorship, we facilitate the connection to accelerate that agreement with Intel and to give you priority for implementation.
That's great. Thank you. I think you've sold me on applying.
And I can even let you know that when we did the collaboration with Intel and the training, we actually did an 8-day. So it was 8 weeks of sessions with Intel. So make sure that it was a very fruitful and engagement, and that it was ready for implementation into the classrooms.
Yeah. I think I've seen the quality of that work. I've spent a lot of time working with Kevin Rush over there this spring and last fall. But we've kind of come to the end of that process, and I'm kind of like back on my own now, right? And making I'm the only faculty. I'm it. So, I'm kind of like, okay, where's that rubber going to hit the road here? And this seems to have a lot of appeal. Anyway, I don't want to take the time here, but yeah, thank you.
Well, and as you are aware, it's an emerging area. So whatever you do, you're going to have to update continually.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Continually.
Yeah.
Cynthia, I think we need to call it to a close today.
Yes,
In light of the fact that we asked for an hour, and we thank everybody for presenting today, and hope that you will connect with one another to continue building community amongst this group.
Great. And I will make sure that I send out the recording for this session as well as the presentations.
Thank
Great.
you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.